Yeah, this is what is actually happening. Is because just because you sometimes don't understand the differences in the regiments of these people. These people are in according to the regiment. There's the regiment of the Shah, people with the Shah ancestry from the cradle of humanity. And these people, we are talking of the likes of the Bulu. You understand? The Bulu, they go with the fun in Western and Kibulan in West Africa. Now, in Central Southern Africa, you get the same regimen, but this regimen is called the Shangan. Now, in this regiment of the Shangan, you get the Mathebula. Now, in Central Southern El Kibulan, which is South Africa, it's called Mahula Matabola. Now, Mahula Matabola is the regiment of Bartholomeus Diaz. Now, you have to understand how these people structured this emperor hegemony. And a lot of people that follows my teachings, they have came to understand that it is actually the Shahs, meaning the Asians, the Caucasians, that are in charge of the African emperor, which this Asian empire is masquerading as if an African empire. What do I mean by saying this? Look here. You might have came to understand that Kush is Shangan, but in reality Kush is so Shangan. Is not Shangan because he's not a child of the Shah. But even though we do understand that the Nga is African and the Shah is Asian, but if we are going to speak dialectically in etymology, the Shangan is the Asian, the Arab, the Caucasian. And if we were to put it in the linguistic perspective of Egypt, of Africa, he wouldn't be called a Shangan, he would be called so Shangan because it's Soto that breeded through Shah women, which is the Lai women, which is the light that he knew. Now, Mahula Matabola, what is very much important about this race or this tribe or this nation of people, this is the nation that is solely responsible for the atrocities against Kabolan, against Jacob, against the Hebrews, against the Bantus. This is the nation that ethnically cleansed the Bantus from Israel, which is Jerusalem, what you currently falsely call Africa. Now, Mahula or Bahula Mathebula or Matabola or Mathebula are masquerading under the umbrella of Shangan in South Africa and elsewhere around Central Southern El Kibulan, aka South Africa, Central Southern Africa. And these people came under the regiment in 1467 during the second attack, the recolonization of Jerusalem to rename it Africa. They came under the regiment of Bartholomeus Diaz. Now, Bartholomeus Diaz is an Asian Shangan regiment that comes from the east and attacked El Kibulan with a combination of other regiments that came from America and those that came from Europe and some that came from the false Arabia, which is the area of ancient Israel, which is the Levant that is currently called the Middle East. And in 1467, under leadership of a prophecy of Ptolemy, they then reconcocted what you have currently in El Kibulan, which is controlled by the Mahula Matabola or Mathebula. You must understand who these people are. These people are not Negroes. These people breeded Negro in order to assume themselves as natives of the continent of Israel, which is the continent of the Hebrews, the Negroes. Are we together on that one? So the biggest enemy of all enemies of the Hebrews to date is Matabola, which is Mathebula, Batibulu, which are the so-called Shangaan people who have ethnically cleansed the Bantus. And these are the people that go into Bantu or hunt down Bantus, go into Bantu household, pretend to be spouses in terms of marriage or marrying a daughter. And after that, they unalive the man and take up the surname and start calling themselves with the names of those Bantus. That is the job of Bahula Matabola, Batibulu, Mathebula, which are the Shangaan, and the Dutch Afrikaners and all these Jewish Arab are all intertwined and intermingled into this Mahula Matabola concept, that is the concept of filth and evil against the Bantu. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Braga B. I would like to take this opportunity to say adios, amigo. See me when I see you.